4 years ago, I lived an empty life, serving myself. I owned my own business purely for the reason that I loved making money. Not because I loved having money so much as I loved making money. It was just exciting to make money. And I always wanted to serve God in theory. I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with. We want to serve God in theory, but in practice, there's so many things that come ahead of Him. And, you know, after hearing some sermons by Pastor David, we decided to make the commitment to follow God and give our lives completely to Him. And the experiences that I've gained, experiences like driving down the road with a cop on the back who's coming to check out the school, to do paperwork for us that we have to do for the government. And I have the last papers in town I just purchased. There are no more in town. And I've got the cop behind me. And we go around the last turn before the straight stretch down the road. And there's one of those huge tropical thunderstorms right across the road. And I've got to get the papers done today because the Director of Immigration is coming tomorrow. Those papers have to get done today, and this cop has to come to the school with me today to check things out. And I stop with the motorcycle, and I look back at the cop, and I say, "What do we do?" And he says, "We can't go down this road. It's pouring down rain. We'll have to do it tomorrow." And I tell him, "I can't do it tomorrow. The Director of Immigration is coming, just flying the Director of Immigration to come do this paperwork as a special favor for us tomorrow. We have to go today." And he says, "We're going to get these papers wet. This is the only papers in town. If you get these papers wet, you're not getting your paperwork." And I tell him, "Let's pray." And he sarcastically, and let me tell you, I didn't tell him let's pray because I'm a magical missionary. I was struggling with God through that whole experience. Like, if God was telling me, "Ruan, pray," and I was telling God, "Are you crazy? If I pray out loud to this guy, he's going to know that I just prayed, and we're going to drive into that rainstorm, we're going to get wet, and he's going to laugh at me the whole way." And, you know, God told me pray, and I struggled with him while we're standing there alongside the road, and I'm talking to the cop to fill the space while I'm struggling with God. And then finally I prayed, and, you know, the cop's like sarcastically, "Yeah, let's pray." And I asked God, and I was dumb enough not to ask God that I won't get wet. I asked God that the papers wouldn't get wet. And I got done praying, and the cop said, "Yeah, we won't get wet now," sarcastically, you know. And we started driving, and I don't know if you've ever driven up to a thunderstorm where you can see the wall of water. You know, we're driving up to it, and I can see it up ahead. And as we're getting closer, I keep slowing down more and more and more. And, you know, just before the wall of water, it starts sprinkling, and we're starting to hit that sprinkle. And I've gone through many of those rainstorms, you know, on the motorcycle. You just get soaked, plastered with water. Right as we drive up to that wall of water, off to the north side of the road, and the wind always blows these storms from the north, there's a hole in the clouds. And that hole blows over the road, and we drive through the hole. And I get sprinkled on. I've got a thin shirt on, and I get wet down to my skin. And the cop's a big guy, which is a great thing. The papers are between me and the cop, like up against my back. And he's a little wider than I am, so his shoulders got wet. And the whole remaining, 15 miles, we drove like just ahead of the storm, getting sprinkled on all the way here. Like just a little sprinkle here, a little sprinkle there. And we got here, and that cop didn't ask any more questions. He filled out the paperwork. He was absolutely shocked, as I was. I've never had an experience where God's let me drive through a hole in a thunderstorm before, but, you know, through experiences like that, we've had so many experiences like that. You know that God is real. You know, He controls the elements. He controls money. He changes people's lives. And you know that we serve a real God who's alive today. And I think that makes all the difference.